I feel the elements collide. This love for you and my pride. They ask, where's your spine? I'm an open book with loose spines. In my mind, there's an endless archive. Memories and Don't wanna track you inside. You said you still felt my currents in your knees. Love made us strong, love makes us weak. And time changes things. You said you still felt my currents in your knees. Love made us strong, love makes us weak. And time changes everything. You said you still felt my currents in your knees. Love made us strong, love makes us weak. And time changes things. You said you still felt my currents in your knees. Love made us strong, love makes us weak. And time changes everything.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you? I'm just going to wait, and every time that Ivan takes in a deep breath, interrupt him. It will be Hydrus, interrupt us. Do you like that? We haven't even started the game. You're already like in that phase.
You're already in the zone.
Phase.
That right there. Why do we always have to act like a married couple, Ivan?
Because your dramatic pauses are too pausy.
Oh, so now you have the pants in this thing is what you're trying to say.
Well, I
Guess
have to
who's
say,
driving this bitch off the edge?
Guess who's not wearing pants while he's DMing?
What DM wears pants?
I thought we all agreed we weren't going to talk about that.
It's just, there's
Safe
at
space.
some point in your life when you don't wear tighty-whities anymore, and maybe you move past the character briefs.
I think everybody should be able to wear whatever tightness of whiteies.
Yeah, Mr.
prefer.
Discrimination over here.
Even if they're underoos?
Yeah, they go under stuff.
Well,
I mean, normally we don't get to see
This is really
them,
taking
like,
a turn.
now,
Yeah.
but
I'll kick you.
Can Hikaru me?
You.
Ah!
Ah, yeah, sir.
I'll show you. Watch. Yeah, watch.
Home. Hi, welcome to Maze Arcana's Fury's Reach. This is the 11th episode. For those of you that were tuned in yesterday, it is also the 11th episode. I know that's confusing, but I had this dream that sometime, somewhere, these will all be edited together where events happen in a chronological order, switching back and forth between each group. That dream may become a reality. I just may not have the bandwidth to do it.
Always need to have dreams.
That's what
Anybody
dreams are
want
for.
to take on that task?
Who wants to do that?
Who wants to do that?
Internet.
Internet.
I will hire the internet.
So,
By now.
we're here to play some Dungeons and Frickin' Dragons, shoot some magic missiles into the darkness. We are far away from a tavern, so there's no way we're asking if there's any hot girls in there. They're all here. You like that?
Talking about you, Sig.
Sig's a hot grung.
Sig is a hot grind.
So,
Goatee.
with a goat. Grung with a goat. So let's go ahead and have a little quick, brief introduction moment for everybody in case you are new and joining us here on the stream of Annihilation type thing for the Tomb of Annihilation. And if you're already thinking about tuning out, maybe you don't want to because we've got some giveaways, one of which is going to happen before we actually start the game.
Whoa.
That's right.
Well,
Everybody else
Glad
wants you
you
to
were there
wait
with me.
until the end.
Whoa.
We got you now.
Question mark?
Question mark? So, why don't we introduce ourselves from right to left? Your name and your character.
Hi, guys. I'm Mylin. I play Jakeen. I have a few problems. Just in the game, not in life.
Hi, I'm Ivan. I'm playing Johan Wahilde, who also has problems
Both.
in real life and in the character.
See, there we go. That was the bit.
It's all coming together.
Sock him, put him in a penny, sock it, and smack it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dodger, and I play Reef Ambrose, sister to Johann Wahilder.
Hey, I'm Sig Neutron, and I play Lepad, a green grung with a leaf goatee.
Goatee. How long have you had that on? as
Long
your
time.
character?
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, since it's right after
Since,
Zaru
like-
or something.
7 episodes ago.
Yeah. It's not
Pretty much the whole time we've known him.
Yep.
For those of you in the chat room, you just saw me open up the raffle. So if you would like a brand spanking new shiny mount ready to go,
Don't spank your mouth.
you can spank it. It's yours. Don't let Ivan tell you what to do.
Don't spank your mouth.
Go ahead and hit exclamation point raffle, and we have one
What
of
game is it a mount for?
we have one of 3 mounts for the new Tomb of Annihilation expansion for Neverwinter.
Wow.
There are mounts if you are a PC gamer, a PlayStation gamer, or a Xbox gamer. Would it be an Xbox gamer?
X-bone.
X-boner. If
No.
that's
If you're
you,
an,
not what
if
I
you're an
said.
ex-boner,
we got
we've got
that.
the mounts for you.
We got the mounts for
Again,
your
we're
ass.
really taking a turn.
Mylin has become the censor police here for us.
Try. Do what I can for this group, for my family.
Guys, I'm just trying to play some wholesome D&D where we just, like, murder people and steal their babies.
Yeah.
I know, and then raise babies that are
Yeah.
interracial on other parts of continents.
Yeah.
You're a good mom. You're a good mom.
Super good mom.
Super good mom, Mylin.
All the mom.
Best D&D mom.
In the game.
In the game.
Not in life. I
So,
don't have children.
let's go ahead and we will give you guys until the end of the intro to get in on this raffle, and then we'll all be in character and ready to roll. So, what?
have to restart.
Oh, we need to restart?
Yeah, there's
What?
a weird audio issue.
Oh.
Where we're only getting one left ear, and all of a sudden it just started spazzing.
Oh, I know what that was because I had to deal with it yesterday with you.
Satchel raffle.
Yeah. All right, so we will give you guys, the raffle will stay live. We're going to pop off real fast and pop right back into the room, okay? We have to reset the technicals, but we'll be back shortly.
Satchel.
Satchel
Satchel.
and raffle.
Sounds like something I really want to do.
Are they up?
Let's watch cartoons. all
That was
day.
childhood.
Okay, so
I mean, like,
we're gonna go
right
ahead and kick off the
still do that.
raffle
That's how me and my fiance
after
go to bed.
the
We watch
intro.
fucking
So
anime all
let's
night.
go ahead and play that intro. Yeah, watch the crosstalk. Go ahead and kick on that intro. Ready, set, go. All right, so I think we got all of those things squared away. We had a little bit of issues with this like earlier, I guess it was last Sunday, and we had the techs come out and work on the line and everything like that, and they were pretty excited about everything, but now we had a little trouble, but I think it's good to go. So without further ado, let us pick our first winner.
Yay!
Everybody make sure you've got your exclamation point raffle ready to go. Moobot, raffle, draw.
Raffle.
Did everybody else do like a hey, we're coming back right now thing?
Like a tweet?
Yeah, do like a tweet for that, just to make sure that the people that were here did it first.
I
and
shall.
then
While you're sorting the raffle.
had a moment.
I'm gonna retweet Dodger.
I'm just been zoning out on this amazing mood music. I am not in this dimension anymore.
It's your like your new favorite music, Ivan.
It is, really.
I love like Sig's dying inside over there.
It's
I-
just that there's
like a
some
weird
kind of frequency
tinny
that's
noise.
going
Yeah,
on.
that's,
Yeah.
it. That's what
like-
makes that's the kind of one of the best parts of it is that it has this like underlying needle that is
I just love
That, like,
looking across the way and seeing
like
Sig in
nails
so
on-
much pain.
It's like nails on
God,
top.
it just adds another. It's like the cherry on top of the perfect cake of music.
I just want to write to this for hours and then think about Sig sitting there sweating.
Do you think it'll help your writing for the next book after
Yes.
the Drow's Wish?
Yes. Oh, after the Drow's Wish, yes, of course.
You need the perfect storm to really get yourself.
You kind of do.
Mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully everybody that did the little blip at first is back and ready to draw, because our first raffle prize is going out right. Sverdrik.
Sverdrik, thank you. Yay! Congratulations, you get a mount.
You did it. You typed in raffle. You did it.
Hey, not only that, but he was randomly selected by a computer. Selected by a computer.
Yay! Congratulations.
That's where I
Congrats.
play D&D on this show.
Eventually. But hey, we have 2 more of those raffles going out, so we're gonna let. Oh, is he here? Hopefully he's here. Oh no, are we flashing it out again?
It's yellow up in the left, and that's never good because that's usually when it's gonna go.
All right, we'll make the best we can of the time we have while we have it. That's all a person can ask for is a lifetime.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and jump right back in here. We'll get you. Just go ahead and send a little whisper to Ruty Woot, and I will let you pick which platform you play on, and we will get you a mount. 2 more of those are gonna go out here in a bit. I see a red button over there, jumping back and forth. What is going on over there?
It's cursed.
Man,
Anywho, so yesterday was great.
the internet sucks.
Not live?
Yeah, we're still up. Well, now we're paused.
We're just beautiful.
Everything is beautiful.
Now that would
beautiful.
just work.
Everything is
Yeah, look how beautiful we are.
I've been rubbing this tavern brawler's tummy for the entire time while we've been trying to figure this out.
Beautiful. Yes.
It's like each new thing that you say, Sig just is like does not compute. I don't know.
I'm getting all of my
No,
favorite
that
reactions
could-
right
that
now. I have
definitely
Dodger's
confusing.
happiness, and I have Sig's like.
I
All
can't,
right.
I can't rub her tummy without also rubbing all of her bits. So
and
Don't rub
I'm
all her
trying to
bits.
rub with just
Boobies.
the side of my finger, but I'm still getting all of
Up
the
those boobies.
Scratch it.
all
See,
scratch it.
There's
I don't know
really
if she wants her tummy scratched,
And this is technically a bullywug.
but I guess technically it's me. Would I want my tummy
I
scratched?
swear we
Sure.
play D&D
You can
on
stop
the
us
show.
any time if you want, Rudy.
Are we green now? Looks like we're green.
green.
Okay.
Super green.
I'm gonna stop them now so we can get started with this thing.
Nonsense.
Nonsense and poppycock. All right, enjoy your smooth jazz because that's the last smooth you get out of the entire adventure here.
Show hasn't even started. I'm stressed out.
Oh, I got plenty for you too.
Oh, good.
Okay, so last you remember is who wants to recap?
There's a lot of water
There was water.
It's a baby grung.
because the baby
vomits water.
It was like bleh, it was vomiting up. It was a survival episode for the most
There was a
part.
lot of survival.
We did lots of like traveling. We have no water. We need water. Traveling. We have no water. We need water. She's dying, etc. And then baby grung vomited up so much
whirlpool.
water that we almost drowned in it.
It turned
But
into a whirlpool.
it turned
thing,
into a terrible
which
whirlpool.
almost killed Ivan.
Yeah.
You were on your last death
Now-
save, right?
Yeah.
Now
literally
she's missing.
last death save, and so I don't even think we're that far. I think we were we got out of the water, and then suddenly a magical sleep came on all four of us, and we all dropped like flies.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. And I think you were near death. You were near death as far as exhaustion
I was not.
levels
I was
go.
actually fine.
Oh, as far as exhaustion levels? Because I know,
Yeah.
obviously, Jakeen was at like 5 out of her 6 exhaustion levels.
Right.
So,
But that's
And-
because of fruit lust.
Yes, fruit lust.
fruit lust
Related
helps.
issues.
And we also had a. All right, so for anybody else who's not paying attention, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, our group here is in the jungles of Cholt, which is a peninsula to the south of the Sword Coast. It is surrounded on 3 sides, as a peninsula is, but in previous editions, it was an island. The spell plague took took a pretty big toll on the area, and it has now come back into to favor after vacated their
After the Hell's Angels moved in.
left. Yeah, after the Omnian Hell's Angels left. So they had found or heard rumor of a pulse of Cholt, and by they, I almost specifically mean Dodger's character, Reef. She set off on a journey to get a hold of that thing because nobody should have it. It's too powerful.
Adventure.
She got captured, but not before getting a map with some notes on it out to her brother, who is an author in Luskin,
A former adventurer and author.
who quit at the ripe old age of like a teen for
Weak.
a week into it, or week for
into
doing
it.
it.
Yeah.
Week with an A or an E works.
I did like the freshman course curriculum and then dropped out.
Right. And after you received the letter and realized that she was in danger, you went rushing to her aid all the way down to Cholt, spending a considerable amount of coin, rushing a book out, which you'd set up a signing for and then missed, and fun things happened, but we'll let you guys go back and watch the episode with Volo in it.
Yeah, that was my point. This is why the Drow's Wish is not my best work, because I could have spent a lot more time on it, but family.
Hashtag spider sex.
Hashtag spiders. Daedra sex. But yes.
Wow. Pulp fantasy romance, I think is where we're going with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The dry- so anyway, you get to Cholt. Your ship gets smashed by the turtle dragon. You wash ashore with another gentleman.
But like you said, they can all watch that.
They can all watch that. I'm just doing a real quick
Okay.
recap for everybody of the
Okay.
thing. You hire Jakeen. Jakeen, after finding you on the beach, she escorts you back. You hire her to take you down into the jungle as your guide and to help find Reef. You have another adventurer with you that you pick up along the way, which is a grung, whom you and the other gentleman slid into to their nesting area. He knew of your books, read them to his people, and that ended up getting you, that was your get out of jail free card, as he escorted you guys out of a typically very brutal, very enslaving grung atmosphere. Long story about all the shenanigans that got you down to the lower portion of Cholt where you are, but you found your sister.
Yay!
You interrupted some sort of ritual that had a grung and a glowy stone, which is the pulse you were looking for, presumably. You made your way out of said area, fought your way up through a very ashy kind of desert, and worked your way up the river, past the swamp, and then had the experience. So maybe now it makes a little bit more sense where you're like, we did a lot of traveling, surviving, getting through a thing.
And our immediate goal was to get JJ, who is
baby grung.
said little grung, who is carrying the pulse of Cholt as a replacement for its heart at the moment. Take him, because we
Her.
don't know it's sex, her. We all know, but no one's shoving any fingers up.
If you didn't say, did
He
you?
hasn't told us.
So-
Yeah. But we're
As
gonna
players, we know.
but we're gonna take JJ down the river to back to Port Naranzaru, and essentially find the right person we need in order to commit the ritual to get the pulse of Cholt out of JJ.
Right.
Yeah.
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 But now magical sleep.
And then JJ, which stands for Johan Jr.,
JJ's girl.
was like, it threw a temper tantrum.
Yes.
Because something happened to it. What, you guys were like holding it, and it didn't want to be held, or something
We put it down, but then it wouldn't
It's
move.
cranky.
She's cranky.
super cranky. Threw a temper
Thirsty.
tantrum.
She's thirsty.
Yeah, the thirsty thing. Oh, that's what it was. JJ was trying to drink
Yeah.
from the own watery expulsion system that she has, her plumbing. And you guys blocked it so you could get fresh water.
She's trying to lay in it. I mean, I don't know if you can drink water if you're like vomiting out of your mouth.
Yeah, she vomited water, and we were all trying to catch it, and so none of it was falling back on her, and she flipped out and created a whirlpool.
Right, she was trying to like
There's
actually.
a lot of magic in that pulse.
There's
That little
yeah.
tongue can go and make a
Yeah,
freaking
sweet baby grung
whirlpool.
body.
That was
She's
doing
got a lot going
46
on.
damage.
It is
40
crazy.
damage to me every round. So
The and then in the spinny maelstrom happening, you went unconscious. You were able to swim to the edge, and even in your exhaustion, tie a rope and toss it out in the middle. You had advantage on a couple of checks for some things that you did prior, but also for the ingenuity that was going on, so it evened out your exhaustion. Moments of inspiration there. You two were able to make your way to a tree that didn't fall, and then swing your way over. And as Jakeen pulled Johan out on his final death save, poured healing potions down his throat
Yes.
to make sure that he survived it. With that done, and little JJ finally like getting up and kind of panting, I think, from the exertion, you guys all fell asleep.
right. Good timing.
Goodness gracious.
And as you awoke, you had this, you could see a campfire thing that was kind of set up. It looked like there were long kind of logs that were set up, and you all had the opportunity to crawl over to those, and there was a man there. The last thing that Jakeen saw as she went down were this kind of like blurred vision of a high priest, the one that when you all wake up you'll recognize as the man from the ritual chamber. You had some amount of discussion that seemed to have an impact on the reason why the reason why he had the pulse in the first place, and what it meant to him, why he had it.
Is that still around?
So we were going to drop right back into that, where your guys' eyes are starting to flutter open. You see this scene in front of you. You all feel incredibly groggy.
Is our exhaustion still with us?
For the moment, you are all what feels like drugged. This malaise hangs over you, and you see him stand up, and he starts to welcome you to sit down.
Can't move. Limbs.
Yeah, I get up and I stumble a bit and fall back down.
Who are you? Wait, I recognize you. You were in that circle. You're the one pulling the pulse from those little grung.
I look around. Do I see JJ anywhere?
You don't see JJ anywhere.
Where's JJ?
You start to hear him kind of like say a little, like it's very muffled in your ears what he's talking about. You're making out some nonsense about about his wife and and a diamond and the pulse and the Yanti, and there's this kind of back and forth where you're all asking him questions, but you're not wholly sure if he's answering you. As things start to clear in your ears and this malaise starts to kind of sink away, what do you want? Like, what do you do?
Can we can't get up, or can we get
You
up?
can't stand all the way, but I think at this point you guys would probably crawl yourselves over to the fire that he has with the logs set up and stuff like that, and kind of like could have lurched yourselves over that.
If I look around, can I tell, are we where we were when the whirlpool was happening?
Roll me a perception check. At disadvantage.
I'm just gonna like wave and kind of point my finger at him. Just,
8.
Okay.
Get
like,
back!
I don't know.
Get back here, you! Come on, get down.
Okay. So you hear him go, yes, sure.
Good. Okay.
And he turns around, and it doesn't really look like he's talking directly to anyone of you in particular. He says, yes. I promise I will give you money in exchange for your help to get the pulse
Does it
and save my wife.
seem like maybe he doesn't, like, maybe common is his second language?
You can't really tell because of this like fuzz that's kind of going in and out of your consciousness. Like things are getting clearer, but you're a little wobbly. And then everything starts to, as you look around, you start to notice that there are people there that you've never seen. People there that you don't recognize.
Okay.
And he seems to be having a conversation with them and not you. And as that image starts to distort and shift, you hear like the final words kind of echoing out from him saying, I'll slow them down, down, which starts to reverberate in your heads.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
2 darts is too much.
And now you hear Mitch, as it starts to reverberate through what feels like a wide, cavernous space.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I would like to do something when I have an opportunity.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, the image that flashes in front of your eyes is actually of this ritual. How perfect. This ritual that's happening. You were back inside the chamber where you got the grung, little JJ.
You're
Oh
kidding.
my God.
And you see now, this time, the same priest, but in white robes, standing next to a woman. She seems to be blonde and fair-skinned, like she's from somewhere up in the northern regions of the Sword Coast. She and he have their hands raised. They are starting what seems to be a ritual. Time kind of like scatters for you guys as it lurches forward. You start to see a portal open. The portal has this little growing of it, this pale, sick glow. And you start to realize where that comes from, which is the altar where you grabbed little JJ to begin with. On that altar is a very large, 2-fist size gem, glowing that sickly pale green.
Is it the same pulse?
You would assume you've actually not seen the pulse because it's been inside JJ the entire time, but I could see how you would think that.
Right.
As things start to clear for you again, the fuzz gives way to a scatter, a shake, and you can start to see pieces of the volcano coming down. The portal wanes, and the area, including the priest, seem to feel the shaking, and the pulse rolls off of the altar. You see the woman dive for it. And as she goes, it looks like she grabs it. The faint green, sick pallor dissipates. But as she turns around and looks to the man, you can see in her chest, the gem is being absorbed in. There's another flash as that one dissipates.
We're still considered to be drugged at this stage.
You guys still feel like maybe there's some sort of hallucinogen coursing through your bless you through your consciousness, as the next thing you see is the image of that same woman, now looking quite a bit more decrepit, clutching her arms around that man, and he is walking into a clearing, dropping to his knees with her just faintly holding on around his neck, and a very large body, lower part of the body is a snake, upper part looks like a very masculine, or a very muscular masculine build. He drags a flaming sword in the dirt behind him, and he has a cloth covering one eye in like a bandana sense. One eye stands open, and you see him raise a very large diamond. Immediately off of the glint of that diamond, you are once again back in that ritual chamber. The woman and the grung the man stands over a woman laying there, looks basically like the skin is sunken in, the hair that is left is white and stringy, and there is a grung, just like little JJ, shackled above her on that altar. You see him remove the pulse, place it into the grung, and then immediately pick up the diamond and start chanting. And you see her soul enter. And now you wake up. You are back on the
Plateau.
well, not on the plateau.
Yeah.
You were back in that clearing alongside the lake, or past the lake alongside the river. The current kind of lapping. It's all a little bit too serene and peaceful at this point, considering what you've just been through.
I just had the weirdest dream. Feel like we just got hornswoggled by the high priest, and we just got to see his whole origin story. Did you have that? Did you get that, sis?
Yeah.
No? Yes? Okay.
Yeah. I like try to get up.
Are we still feeling
Now,
drugged?
are we where the whirlpool happened?
You are where the whirlpool happened.
I'll check and see if do I have my weapon.
You guys seem to have all the things with you that you had before, except there doesn't seem to be a little JJ hanging out.
I heard the guy, I heard him say something about slowing us down. Do you remember those dinosaurs, right?
I'm running toward the water to see if I can find JJ.
Okay.
Like, while you're mid-sentence, I'm like stumble running, like, JJ!
Yeah, that's a good point. Wait, where's JJ? I'll have this realization now as I get up and look around and start digging around too. So, assuming it's flatland all across, right?
It looks pretty flat around this area, especially like coming up to the water. You can see, I think it was a couple of miles in the distance to your west is a tree line, and then you guys had actually made it pretty close to the tree line in front of you. I think it was something like in the neighborhood of 4 hours out or something like that.
JJ! Jakeen! And I'll look back to her as and I go over and start kind of like,
I'm still super
I'm
messed up.
JJ's gone.
I noticed.
So,
Do you
Do you
count
think-
as beast?
Grung would probably not count as a beast.
Just checking.
They're sentient beyond what like a dog.
No,
or
no,
a
I just
cat
wasn't
would
sure
be.
if the spell would work or not.
Yeah. Maybe not for them.
Okay.
Well, what do we do? Can you track him? Can somebody track him?
I can try and track. Do I see any tracks like around where we've been of anybody else like coming in and out besides ours?
You do notice that there is one other set of footprints that seems to, as you guys as you're snooping around, you look back over at where you woke up, kind of like that little, all the markings where you were face down and then like crawled to like get up. You do notice that there seems to be a set of footprints that walked to each one of you, checking you, and then moving on. Didn't take any of your belongings, but moved on, and then seemed to have headed north along the side of the river.
They must have taken JJ. They must have taken JJ and the pulse. That's what they was looking for, right? This whole time.
I mean, I don't know what else unless JJ ran off on her own, but
Yeah, but where would she go? I mean, I guess there's a tree line over there, and I'm sure she would run if she saw that same cultist who put the gem inside of
You would think.
her run. But if they're hunting her, well, then we have to find her before they do.
can I kind of look like going in the direction of the tree line and everything and see if I can see any little grung tracks?
You actually see that there are grung tracks that seem to be heading north,
Okay.
but also as you inspect those grung tracks and the tracks of the person that went north, they're not side by side. They're more like the boot tracks are kind of going back and forth, like weaving around, making sure you would, from what you're used to for tracking, it's kind of like the same movement that you would make if you were trying to track and not step on them
Right.
as you were moving.
What do you see, Jakeem?
JJ may have run off. They may not have gotten her. I don't know. I can't tell who's running after who here. But I would say north is our best bet.
If they haven't got her, then we still have a chance.
Right. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. We should go for. Wait a minute.
I know they do got her. I don't know if you guys remember, but she's got a pulse inside her.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've clearly learned that if JJ needs to do some damage, that she did a pretty good job of it. So,
But-
more than anything, I'm actually just as afraid for them.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
I guess
We
that's a
just
good
get
point.
there and the camp's obliterated. I'm fine with that. We just
JJ
pick up
does
JJ.
something intense. We'll probably see it.
Probably.
Actually, that's probably how they even found us in the
It's
first
the
place.
whirlpool, of course. That's probably how they tracked us in the first place.
I say we start making our way north.
Are our mounts still around, the Deinonychuses at all?
Wrong music. You
Encounter.
you did save them from the whirlpool. Did you roll me survival before? Give me a survival check on that one. And your exhaustion seems to have subsided for the moment.
I only got an
Thank
8
goodness.
survival.
An 8 survival? Okay. So luckily they're dinosaur tracks. They're somewhat easier to distinguish from the other things, and there doesn't seem to have been a bunch of dinosaurs around this area. You're going to have this, I guess basically all of you are going to feel actually relatively well rested after the malaise of the drug wears off.
So does that constitute a long rest then? Do we
It
get our-
will constitute a long rest.
Okay.
After.
Your
So-
exhaustion is gone, it's reset, but the effects of the thing is not.
Okay. And we have full hit points again.
You all have full hit points,
full magic
full
slots?
key, full magic.
And foot stacks. Because I don't have issues.
Oh, that's right, foot sacks.
Oh,
I was just looking at my thing and I was like,
tried.
what were foot sacks again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have shoes.
I got those. Cute
Well-
foot sacks.
Should we try to track Lefty and Steen before we go and track and go after them? We'll
Which-
probably make up time.
Which way did I see the dinosaur tracks going?
North.
Everyone's going north, so I just say we go
We should
north.
pick the
Everything's north.
dinos
Let's just
first.
go.
yeah. We're gonna hustle. We gotta make up some lost time.
And we have full water.
And
You
we have
do.
full water. Although the one thing we are still not doing well on is insect repellent.
True.
Keen seems to be just fine. As far as insects go, they seem to be keeping quite a wide berth still.
So we should all hug Jakeen at all
Would I
times.
know anything about like any flora and fauna or something that would I don't know, be able to make a repellent with?
You've heard that the boogie oogie, as your people call it,
It's a natural insect repellent.
is a natural insect repellent.
That's why they're not
Yeah, we
bothering
don't
me.
have any of those.
I'm smart.
Well, Jakeen had used fine plants
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
and located what was probably somewhere within 5 miles of the
Tree line.
of the tree line, somewhere just past that.
So but it's not along our northerly trek, right? Because we were heading
That's
south.
where she. No, you weren't headed south. You were headed north.
Oh, we're heading north. Okay.
Everything's north. Everything's
Okay, the
head
first
north.
thing is
North
first
is the place to go.
Let's
should-
go
We should
north.
get the more of the boogie oogie for that one.
But that's also north.
Everything
Yeah,
seems to be-
everything's
So-
north.
We
Let's
are-
just go
We are
north.
going to follow Jakeen.
It's not about the fruit at all. It's definitely about saving
I'm
that
positive
ground.
that everybody's north.
Everybody's north, so we're going to follow the tracks that are following the tracks.
Cool. All right. We follow Jakeen.
All right. As you guys head north, how fast are you going?
I think this constitutes double time.
So you guys are really hoofing it.
Well,
Well, I
You
don't
got
think
the mounts.
yeah, we got the mounts, so we had to
Oh, we
make up
got
for
them?
lost time.
You do have them. Well, you don't have the mounts yet, but as you make your way along there, coming around some of the hills, you do find the two mounts just kind of sitting there. Satine and Left.
Left.
Come here, come here.
They notice that it's you. They kind of look around a little bit to see if the little grung is there, but since she is not, they sheepishly make their way back over.
Oh,
Oh, they're scared of JJ.
That's a good Satine.
Okay, I'm done.
get on the dino.
After you're scratching the thing, you see Left pop up into one of the saddlebags, push her head in, and then come out with the ball.
I'm gonna just hop on Satine and then grab it and then just bounce it off the floor and catch it. Bounce off the floor and catch it while we continue to walk to incentivize Lefty.
Okay, so when you start to do that,
Yeah.
Satine also becomes interested in it. Give me an animal handling check.
Nah, comedy, comedy. I got a 10 in comedy.
So what do you think happens?
I think what happens is I'm bouncing it, paying attention to left, or to Lefty as I'm going into it, and I grab it and I catch it, and then Satine lurches for it, and since her body momentum is going this direction towards the ball, my motion goes this way, and I essentially just swing right off the saddle and then just plummet down.
That's accurate.
They both dash off with the ball. So
Which you didn't throw, it was just bouncing as a bounce. So
yes.
your foot kicks it, it flops up into the air.
Yeah.
You flop off the side,
Right.
and they're just like this until they jump up in the air, catching it. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Come on. Oh, I hate these dice. 9.
Why don't you use different ones?
Because I keep forgetting to bring my bago die.
Would you like the DM's dice?
I want your dirty,
Yeah, those are good dice,
toxic
actually.
dice.
They're not toxic. They can't be any worse than that die.
These are my tabletop dice. They were supposed
Take them
to
all.
be lucky.
Take 'em off.
Every time you roll badly on them. Literally every week.
She's sitting here looking at me.
So as you get the as you try to roll out of the way, Lefty and I guess Satine jumps up, snags the ball, but is bumped by Lefty in the process, coming down a little bit awkward on you.
Yeah. Oh God. Crushed by dinosaurs. I am so tired of Charlton dinosaurs.
You say, clutching onto your thigh
Yeah!
as the foot comes down on you for 4 damage.
I'm gonna scoop up the ball and be like, okay, that's enough playtime, and put it back in the saddle. Have we not learned? Remember when we almost lost the dinosaurs by playing ball with them?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
know.
just
They
picked
were
like
so
better times.
excited though.
Maybe when we're not trying to track like a baby, and the guy that took her and stuff.
Well, it's
Time for everything. Okay. And I hop on the dinosaur. And I'm like,
Which one did you hop on, Lefty?
Satine.
Satine. So you hop on Satine, leaving Johan on the ground
These are
there.
really good dice, by the way. I got a 4. So
You're gonna be hot for the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. All of those damage rolls I'm gonna roll against myself.
I rolled that one for you, to be fair. On a d6. I got a 4.
I'll help Johan up and be like, come on, let's get on the other one.
Okay. Baby Grung, what are you doing?
I guess I'll get on one. Who's got 2 on one? And who,
They're on one and I'm
okay,
on
so then, I'll just get on Satina.
Okay, did you ride off without him, or are you gonna... Okay, so you're...
I'm just like,
Hey, that one! Come back! Do you go back for him?
no, he'll catch up.
No, he'll catch up.
I'm not riding fast.
Okay, so how fast do you guys want to move out to get to the tree line?
Don't I get ranger things where
You
we're
do have
not,
ranger things.
Yeah, so we our party's not like obstructed by rough terrain.
Well, they're not by rough terrain, no. Not after you've been traveling for an hour,
Yeah.
but there's certain things that you only get if you're traveling alone.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, I think no matter what, with the mounts fresh, there's no reason to not just, go at a gallop, as they say.
Sure,
So-
sure. So do you want to check back and grab him? Because if she is traveling alone, she could scout probably ahead. And...
Oh, he's tiny. We'll take him.
Yeah, let's take him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna scout around. Also, keep an eye out for fruit.
okay.
And,
So you head up and you get, you guys travel for a couple of hours. You make it close to the tree line, and you have taken a lap up there. Give me a perception check. As you got up to the tree line and then circled back to see everybody. You crit? You actually see that going into the tree line, the brush and foliage around there seems really, like it's pretty thick right there. It's kind of odd that it just almost stops immediately. It doesn't dissipate like the way most of them do. It just kind of like all of a sudden stops.
yeah, jungle, no jungle.
Right. So going into this portion of the jungle seems to be like there's some bramble, there's some vine. You circle back and you let them know that you found one portion there which seems to have been like bushwhacked away to create like a bit of a path moving up into the northern portion right here, the little part of the tree line.
Let's ride it. Let's ride it through.
Yeah. We'll go that way then.
The Nauticus with its terrible claws.
I always elbow you.
I have
Again,
Always.
keeping an eye out for fruit, keeping an eye out for traps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same here.
Let me make sure to turn off these extra birds because I know that they are rather aggressive.
More birds. More birds.
Crows can go. We don't need any cuckoos. So as you guys start to enter this little portion of the jungle, you have to move like single file, setting the dinosaurs out a little bit, keeping a little bit of distance. Who's in front?
I'll go in front.
Okay. So as you guys move in, you see the lush jungle open up in front of you again. It's as if you were basically just traveling down from Port Nanzaru. A lot of this stuff reminds you of that heaviness that you guys have not seen in quite some time now.
Do I sense any undead?
You do to the west. You do not sense any undead in your immediate vicinity. And then you start to feel the ground tremor.
This can't be good.
Like volcano tremor?
Maybe.
Or like worms tremor.
Does Chult have a lot of earthquakes?
So if we're in the wood, do I notice anything?
You notice that
arboreal-
it's wobbling a little bit. Like you guys are on the mount, so you even see Satine and Left actually kind of like get a little alarmed by the amount of shaking that's going on.
Lepad, what is this normal in Chult? Is this a thing that happens in the jungle?
Is this a normal thing that happens?
Does it feel like earthquake shaking, like a continued, like kind of like rhythmic, like side to side, or is it like a thud, thud?
It does
thud
not
shaking?
feel like thud thud thud. It
Okay.
does have more of a continuous
Rumble.
It's not T-Rex
Rumble?
footprints. Got it.
right.
Yeah.
So you feel this kind of vibration happening underneath you. The mounts seem to be becoming more and more agitated.
Do we go? Do we stay? Do we move? Do we run? What do we do?
I
Give me
mean,
animal handling checks. You two, you're driving?
I'm
Yeah.
driving ours. She's
You're
driving hers.
16
Is it you? It might be you.
might be cursed.
6.
Okay. So you're able to hold Satine up a little bit, like pulling her back, getting her right, keeping her modified, but she's like, even her legs, like she's bouncing like hydraulics.
Okay.
Yours is doing the same thing, however, the weight of the three of you on it, as soon as left tips a little to the right, tries to correct left, and you guys notice that maybe the reason she was named this is because of the equilibrium issues that she has.
Oh, God.
And she goes to roll over you. You guys hit the ground. Dexterity saving throws to roll out of the way. Wow, it's
14.
you.
16. Yeah.
What'd you get? 14?
16.
Oh, okay. So you two are fine. As you feel it, you know it's coming first. It's like the driver who always knows the issue is coming first. So you like start to hop off as soon as you can. You were following his lead. You were tracking on some bug that was up in the air as this was happening. And left gives you a nice little roll over. Go ahead and roll with D6 and take that.
Oof.
5.
All right, that's not terrible.
Not terrible.
Considering it was a dinosaur that just rolled over you. And as you guys stand back up, the two dinosaurs like try and hunch down and get their center of gravity as low as possible. You guys now are on your feet, feeling the wobble back and forth.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So now that we're on the ground, like, I don't know if I put my ear to the
Yeah, I was
ground.
gonna
Do I
say.
hear anything?
Yeah. we're gonna
You
drop.
can hear the rumbling is audible at this point.
I'm going to move to the side a bit and be like, try and like move.
Is there a tree?
There are trees everywhere.
Okay,
There are
can I,
bushes everywhere. There.
If I climb up to the top of a tree, would I like see through the tree line at all? Or?
Give me a, well, so normally you have a climb speed, so I wouldn't have you do any type of checks. However, because of the shaking, instead of doing it at disadvantage, I'll just give you an athletics check in general.
Okay. 17.
All right, so you're able to kind of make your way up using your little stickers as best you can, stopping every now and then to get yourself up a little further.
Grief, Jakeen. This doesn't feel like an earthquake. I think something's coming towards us. I'm gonna try to see if I can follow.
Yeah,
the
move to
path.
the side.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a roll. Yours will be at disadvantage. You get up, and as you get higher and higher, you notice that the canopy here is super thick. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back. Seems to be some sort of like interesting Twitch error because it's definitely not on our side. But we'll keep monitoring as it goes, and we will hop right back into where we were, which was you guys feeling trimmer issues going on from
Trying
this.
to maybe climb trees.
Trying to maybe climb trees. What did you get on your disadvantage?
I
check?
got on my disadvantage. I got a 13.
Okay, so you start to you're able to kind of make your way up.
It's athletics, you said, right?
Yeah, it's athletics.
So 13.
You're able to make your way up a little bit here and get yourself up to kind of see where he is, but he's a good like 10 or 15 feet above you, where you guys are all having the same issue with the amount of vegetation that is up this far. And you start to see what you think for a second is a snake, until you see that there are little thorns on this long green, maybe it's a vine,
Green worm?
coming towards you very slowly.
How big is it?
Tree.
Big,
Kinda big around?
big enough to definitely constrict around a froggy.
Okay. Guys, I don't think this is. Maybe go the other way.
Maybe get out of the
I'm gonna
tree.
start slowly climbing back down, away from it.
Oh.
Okay.
What is it? Oh, Pat, what is it?
You see a little grung butt sliding down
Oh,
towards
God.
you.
Get off. No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. As I slide out of the way so
Okay.
he can get out of, he can not.
Wait,
Put
so can
his
I see
running
it from
butt.
the ground? Or no?
Can you see the vine up there?
Yeah.
No.
The line. Okay.
Yeah, whatever it is up there.
Okay.
Nope, you guys don't see it. But as you slide down, it doesn't seem to follow you much further than partially like a little bit down the tree, stops about maybe 10 feet above where you were, and just kind of coils there for a second and then starts to retreat back up into the tree.
I don't think we should get into the top of the canopy.
He says, like, I don't think we should try to get into the top of the canopy.
Yes, I like that.
The ground shaking around you seems to get more and more violent. You all of a sudden start to hear some of the wildlife around you panic.
We should go away from like the shaking. I
Okay.
don't know which way that is, but we should go.
All right, just anywhere but here. Can we just take
So
off
east.
north?
You can see now, or you feel actually, the kind of like that oppressive precipitation that makes your skin really cold just before a rain. You can feel it
Jeez.
bringing up the goosebumps on your skin.
I think we're just gonna keep going. Like we're just gonna move as much as we can. Just staying here seems to just be getting worse. I think Jakeen's got the right idea.
Did we see the animals run in a certain direction?
You haven't seen any animals. You can just hear them. And between them and the rumbling, it starts to become deafening.
Okay, so we can't tell which direction they're from.
Not really.
JJ?
JJ, calm down, buddy.
Son of a dick.
Dashing and daring,
All right.
courageous and caring.
So in lieu of technical difficulties, we will not be taking a break tonight. We're just going to power right on through. Anybody that wanted to get in on another raffle, I'm going to let you know that as soon as I type in the deal, the faithful who are here get to have first crack at this one.
The faithful who have stood amongst the test of time and technical difficulties
With their satchels.
with their satchels.
You will get
sitting.
mounted. I mean, you'll have a mount.
For mounting.
Your saddlebags will be flush with all the grand loot that you have been rewarded for your loyalty.
You're going to make me log back into this before I can do that. Is that what the deal is going to be?
Gummy bears bouncing here and there and there.
Do you know? Do you know that's the one theme song that's been translated into more languages than any other cartoon?
What? That's not possible.
It's like something like 26 different languages
What?
it's been translated into.
I want to hear them all.
It's
There's
on
probably a
YouTube.
YouTube video.
It's on YouTube.
Okay, great.
Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air.
Okay. Raffle's open. Go. After I'm done, just kind of recapping this thing, we're going to hit the button again. You guys.
Yeah.
Inside the tree line.
Okay.
Took the path. Looked bushwhacked.
Rumble, rumble, rumble,
Rumble, rumble, rumble. Dinosaurs rolled over.
Animals screaming.
Animals screaming.
Weird things in
It starts to
canopy.
become deafening.
And
All of a sudden, vines, roots start moving, trees start swaying. A couple of them start to fall. Some seems like a little bit in the distance to the north. And a massive boom as a ripple of sickly, pale, green, what looks like a pulse rushes towards you. You can see it on its way, very fast. What do?
go to the left. Go to
Can
the right.
Like, how big is it? How tall is it?
It looks like it is right at about 5 feet off the ground, maybe about a foot or so in height.
I'm gonna try and scurry up the tree a few feet.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm gonna try to climb a tree, I guess.
I'm running to the left.
You're running to
But
the
it's
left.
a pulse. Like
Oh, it's a pulse?
It's
So
like a big,
as you guys move, you start to see the trees that it comes through start to snap. Some of them falling to the side. Their trunks,
The pulse is 5 feet
There.
up top.
it seems to be rippling out 5 feet.
I'm gonna hit the
I was
dirt.
gonna say,
You
can we
hit the
drop
dirt.
it?
Yeah, I'm
I'll
down
go.
on the
I'll
ground.
drop.
You drop.
Oh, you can go below it?
You could. It's 5 feet tall. It seems to be at a
Oh,
foot
it's
high.
5 feet tall. Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I pulled me and the dinosaur down.
Okay, so you jump off the tree, grab the dinosaur, pull one down. You two hit the
I'm
dirt.
gonna try and grab
You
the
hit
other
the
one
dirt.
too if I can.
All right, give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm assuming I'm not anywhere close. That's a great idea, though.
18.
Okay, you are able to grab both of them, pulling both of their
Then
heads
don't
down
get
below.
decapitated!
And we are going to do the Moobot raffle right after that, right there. So Moobot raffle
What a
close.
Satchel
Do we
raffle.
die?
Satchel.
Okay.
I hope they learn to stop playing that game.
The problem is that once you start, you can't stop.
You
That's
can
not true.
stop.
You can
And
always stop.
You can always stop.
thank you guys for sticking around through all that rough stuff. Just for that, here's a reward. Boom.
Satchel.
Satchel. And Jaylan WC, who is
Yay, Jaylen.
who I believe is an Arcanine. We see Jaylan hanging out, and pretty sure that you were there on Sundays with us too. So
Well, now you have a mount.
yeah, we'll get you a mount as well. Go ahead and give me a whisper at Ruty Woot, and we'll get you the mount to your desired platform.
Whisper sweetly and with wonderful words into his
Now let's see
ears.
if we
That
have
works.
mounts.
Now, you guys see the pulse rippling towards you, rushing in that direction.
No dinosaurs!
You pull both of them down, and boom! It goes right overhead, splintering some of the trees above you. Some bark, some innards of a tree.
That was bad.
It's not sap, but like
Pulp.
pulp. Yeah, comes raining down over you as the pulse ripples out towards the water.
I'm gonna sit up and look to see where it came from. JJ!
You notice, you guys all saw it coming. You saw it from the north. It was very loud. The whoosh overhead seems to now, as that fades from your ears, be replaced by silence.
Oh, yeah.
There is not even background music left for you.
Is there not?
There is not,
Well,
nor
I'm
are there birds or
Oh.
dinosaurs or anything. It is now a sickly, deadly quiet.
I'm gonna check on everybody to make sure they're okay. Start helping people up.
Yeah.
Do I sense any undead now?
You don't.
I think we may have found JJ.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And we're gonna run off towards where the explosion.
Do I see any difference with like the trees that the pulse hit or anything? Like, do they look like?
Give me an Arcana check.
12.
You see that there seems to be like this wispy kind of like green essence only on the side, like the northern side where you're at. If you look around to where the outside, like along the ring where the ring would have come from, you can see that it seems to all angle in towards one point.
We can track it.
It didn't like slice through the trees.
Some of them it hammered pretty hard.
Right.
It didn't slice
Yeah, okay.
per se. It's not like a clean chop of wood.
Yeah, it was more like a burst of energy kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna hop on our dinosaurs and head towards where?
Toward where we think the explosion came from.
Yeah. Because that's the most sensible thing to do when you
Yeah,
see an
I think so.
explosion. Is you run towards the origin.
So, you guys hop on the mounts, saddle up, you start making your way up there. It is still a good distance that you have to cover before you get there. As you come to what looks like a clearing, you start to feel as if what you're watching in front of you, or what you're seeing unfold in front of you, is basically the aftermath of what would be ground zero. Trees are completely, not sliced, but hammered down. The shrubs are all flattened as if pushed back by a massive sound wave. All of the environment around that seems pushed down, dampened, depressed.
Could I tell like what kind of school of magic it may have came from or something?
You can give me an Arcana check. What you definitely notice, nope,
9.
it feels
Magical.
like ancient. What you do notice is that around some of this tree area that like the canopy still seems to have maintained. So there are massive older trees that have still maintained their footing, but there are a lot of roots up in the air from trees that have been tilted over. It looks like you actually almost have to navigate through a maze to make your way towards the actual center. Luckily, all of the trees are laying in the direction opposite of where the center was.
Right.
So you're able to locate the center point here very easily. What you do notice as you walk through the area there, kind of navigating around some trees, you see a pair of booted feet sticking up past one of the trees.
I go look and see who's there.
Okay. As you head in that direction, which is a little ways off of the center area, where are you guys going?
I'll follow her.
You're gonna go with her?
Okay,
I'm gonna look for
we both
tracks.
hop off of the dinosaur.
Looking for little grung tracks.
Okay,
and,
give me a survival at disadvantage and what?
those prints that I saw earlier that looked like they were maybe following JJ, or maybe she was following them.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably stick with Sis.
Okay, so the three of you see these feet, point them out, and start to walk over that way as Jakeen spreads out into the area, going to the center of the camp, or going to the center of the ground zero, and moving in a pattern, looking about as she is. What'd you get?
What was my thing again?
You were looking survival at disadvantage.
Yeah, it's just a 9.
A 9. So as you do try to kind of make your way through, you do notice that that some of that magic that we were talking about before with the tendrils in that sickly paler green are in little pieces around, but they are on different portions of the trees as they were slammed down. None of them are about the same height. You do not see any tracks that you would notice moving in and out of the area. What you do find seems to be on point with what the fine plants showed you earlier, and you do see some bushes that basically have just this splatter of orange and red, kind of like this peachy flesh color around.
I take one of my satchels and head over to that bush and just start scraping it.
So it seems to be actually pretty well spread around the area. You can easily get over and do those things, especially while they're not watching. You can kind of go and start to scrape some.
Yeah, the
different
bigger
pieces.
chunks and whatever I can get.
Okay.
Damn, the one time we're not with her.
I know.
Well, you guys also notice that there's some of this
Yeah,
this stuff along the trees and little areas, and when you make your way over to the feet, you notice that coiled back over them is the black robes that you had seen before inside the temple.
Did a cultist explode?
Yeah, wait, is it like a full body? Are we there? Is it?
As you're nearing the tree and you can see the feet that are sticking up, you can see kind of layered over the tree are the bottom of the black robes. So he's got kind of like a little bit of calf that's exposed up. They definitely look like manly calves.
I think he. Wow.
Hey, are you alive?
So as you walk over to the other side, like hopping over the big
Slap
log.
his meaty thighs.
Yeah, so you slap the thigh.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, can you? And you kind of try to look over. This actual tree that is laying where he is tall enough that you kind of have to like palm yourself to get over, like vault over a little bit.
Right.
And when you get to the other side, you see a very familiar face, one that you've seen in your dreams recently, except his forehead seems to have been caved in by what looks like a jagged cavity.
A diamond-shaped cavity.
It's not quite a diamond shape, but it looks like maybe kind of probably what you would imagine a magic missile to look like.
Okay.
But as
so
you
he's super dead.
He does not seem to be still in the running for anything except the death curse.
Okay.
That's a really complicated way of saying he's dead.
He's dead.
Yes.
I take his shoes.
You peel the boots off him. Roll me.
Oh, that's cold, sis.
Well, I need
so
shoes.
cold.
I'm sorry. I need shoes. This is a desperate time right now, okay?
Is
And
this
he
a-
wasn't a very nice person.
Is this the same guy who put us sleep on all of us?
Yeah, how would you know that?
I don't know. His calves look really familiar.
Not to you. You had probably the least amount of hit points, so you were the first one.
True, I was the first
to
one down.
snooze.
Jakeen, we found a dead guy.
Okay, I'll be right there.
What am I rolling?
Roll me a percentile. Roll me 2d10 and give me the percentile.
I legitimately think
50.
Johan
Okay.
would be way too ignorant about the bully woogie to even notice that that's scattered all the way around us. So.
Do I find any whole pieces or whole fruit?
There, you don't find any actual like the full out fruit, but you do find there's like
Good sized chunks?
yeah, like rind and peel and stuff
Yeah,
like all
like
over
good,
the
like,
place.
you know, if I just like keep collecting them in a bag, like I'll have a decent
You'll probably have a decent stash of it.
bug repellent.
Yeah, and so you actually pull the boots on, and they are only one size too large.
Sick.
Pat him with the dino's skin.
Oh yeah, are those warm? Do they still feel warm from the flesh that was once inside of it?
Would you not judge me right now? I've been wearing sacks on my feet, okay?
I know, and you were doing pretty good.
They were good sags.
They were very very good sacks. No.
Well,
you did
what I
a
want to
really
know is
great
that
job
is
with
that
sacks.
did the blast emanate from him? Because obviously there's not a whole lot of them
I
anymore.
mean, you would know that before me, so.
As you track back a little ways, you see that he was kind of blown back about 20, 30 feet from the center.
Collateral damage. Okay, so we've determined that. Whoa, that almost happened to us. That would have been bad.
Well, I mean, think of it this way. Maybe that means that JJ. Maybe that means that he was going after JJ, and JJ
Let it all out.
defended themselves. Was what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just a huge amount. Well, I'm gonna go walk over to the center to see if there's anything I can discern about Ground Zero.
Okay.
Yeah, tracks, little tiny, like maybe the signs of a struggle or
I'm
anything.
gonna search him.
Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
with
search the dead body.
Or I'll
Okay.
go with Johan.
Roll me a investigation check. Jakeen, you've got all of this gooey goodness.
Yeah, no, you know, I will just take like a little piece
Okay.
and eat that, and then put the rest in the dino pack,
Okay.
and grab the dinosaurs, and also bring them to the center, looking as not suspicious as possible. like,
Okay.
just scouting around.
Is my bullshit meter going off?
No, I'm not looking
You
suspicious.
are currently inspecting
Yeah, you're
the
right,
center
you're
of
right.
Ground Zero. You are hanging out helping her search.
No, I went.
You're gonna
he
go
went
with him.
with
To ground zero.
Okay, so you two are kind of like looking around the little area there. Give me a con save.
A con save.
Not you.
Oh.
4.
Okay. You immediately feel so hungry, like you're just starved for this stuff that you haven't had in so long. Like you're just like the addiction is just running through you again. You're just like, oh my god, I need to eat this. You haven't made your way back over to them yet, but it's up to you what you want to do with that. You do feel this sensation pulling over you that sweet nectar has started to call to you.
I want to be like, no, Jakeem, pull yourself together. You have to save a baby.
Okay, give me a wisdom save at disadvantage.
17 and a 20, so.
Oh,
19.
19. Okay, so you snap yourself out of it for a second. You're just, okay, you gotta save the baby. You gotta hold it on. Okay, I can hold it together. You're gonna start walking back over towards them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I mean, that was the thing, like, have to have it or else you get sick, right? Like, okay, that's what I thought. Like, I was-
You took a little, like just
yeah,
enough
just
not to stain
just
your
enough,
hands.
like,
really.
under the tongue, like,
like
Yeah.
cocaine. Just,
Yeah, you're probably holding some of it under your.
fine, this is fine.
God, she's just got a dollop hanging out in there, just waiting for
The
it.
a little
tongue.
bottle.
Yeah, the tongue.
So you're searching the center to see if you see anything, yeah?
Yes, I'm investigating Ground Zero.
Okay.
Completely unaware of the rampant things that are happening.
Okay.
What would you like me to add on to it?
You can just give me a perception check, right? Is that what I asked for?
Perception. Yeah, you originally asked for. Well, no, that you didn't ask for anything.
Anything yet. So perception will be great.
Okay, so then 15.
Okay, so you are able to go over there and you see that there are like ropes that seem to be like that. One of them leads to one of the downed, like a smaller tree that was like torn out of it by the roots. One of them has been snapped and pulled across. You only see two right now, but they seem to be in opposite directions.
So like a spider web of vines coming out from where?
Kind of, it's actually rope.
Oh, rope. But I'm just saying, but it's coming out from the center. Like
Yeah, there's two ropes right now, kind of like opposite of each other, or maybe like you would say that one may have been tied to a tree here and tied to a
Right.
tree here to make a rope, like a line.
Yeah.
Except for the end that kind of meets there in the center has like a loop, like it was used as a restraint.
I think JJ may have either A, got caught in a trap, or B, was trying to get out of a trap. So there's a chance that maybe our other compatriots at this moment have not found him. Or if they have, they might end up
Are they
looking like our friend over there. Well,
The cultists?
not the
Compatriots.
cultists, are this parents, because I don't know if you remember anything, but I distinctly remember seeing our cult leader friend talking to another group. So I have a feeling we're not the only ones looking for JJ right now.
You found a necklace with a strand of beads. The beads seem to look like little flaming balls.
okay.
Yeah. Haha.
And a folded up copy of notes.
Okay.
The first, as you go to unfold it, looks as though it has a pretty good sketch of a beautiful woman. Kind of penciled in, or really it's done with like chalk and charcoal.
Does it look like the woman from the dream that we all had?
You would think so.
Okay.
At least her earlier incarnation.
Okay. Before she got real old.
Right. And then as you kind of sift through the rest of the notes, they seem to be like runes or some sort of language that you're not quite sure of, but one that you're pretty sure isn't just from Cholt. You can't read it, but you think you know a guy, maybe up in Portney and Zaru or thereabouts.
Okay.
Maybe in one of the districts
Okay.
on the outside of the walls that would know.
Okay.
What'd you find, sis?
I found a necklace that's on fire.
Oh, wow. Is it still... Put it out!
I like toss it to you.
Oh, God. It's on fire.
You toss it?
Yeah.
I looked at it, it's not on fire. I try to catch it. So.
Yeah, but okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
15.
Oh my god. You catch it.
Oh, wow.
You notice
Yeah.
there are 7 beads in it. Give me an Arcana check.
Holy, that's... Why did you put it out if that's not in there? Oh, 23.
You recognize this from some of your other research as a necklace of which the beads can be thrown
Like,
and turn into fireballs as they impact the ground.
What?
You know that each bead intensifies the fireball, starting at the base of what a fireball would do.
You are so lucky right now. You don't even know you could have cooked us. Oh, God damn it, Reed!
Sorry!
So look, fireball,
Right.
better fireball.
Yeah, of course,
Okay.
that's the first
Even
idea,
better
is to throw the
fireball.
fireballs at
Ooh.
your brother.
I'm gonna
choose to
sit
roll
down.
up
I'm gonna
and-
sit
Sorry,
down.
I'm sorry, okay?
Woo.
But
Okay.
look, you caught it, because I knew you were capable and I knew you would. Right? So we're fine.
Is it necklace size? Can I tie it around my neck?
You can.
Which I'm gonna do.
Okay. It doesn't require any attunement to use.
Okay.
Just so you
So
like
I'm just gonna have
you
it.
know this from having you're
So
now
if I
basically
wanted to
wearing.
disconnect it, I could take a bead out.
You can you actually as you look at the beads, you actually see that if you apply the right pressure, you could just pop one off.
Right. So.
Yeah.
I like
Wow.
lean in and tap them.
Get off of that.
yeah,
even
cool.
that.
So before y'all blow each other up, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna start heading look for
I didn't
traps.
know that they were actual fireballs. I thought it was just like a cool fashion thing.
Well, it's first of all, yes.
How about everyone keeping their hands to themselves?
Okay, so as you say that and you go to turn, you kind of can't help but eyes drift towards the satchel. Hand starting to drift towards the satchel. Make me a will save.
Pull yourself together.
Disadvantage.
It's not gonna be good. I rolled 3 both times, so it's gonna be 5.
Your hand slides back into the satchel, scooping out a piece.
Jakeen.
You are sitting down. You didn't give me a perception
You
check.
guys are all talking to each other. Mind your business.
Give me a stealth check.
Don't bug me.
Well, yeah, I'm just putting 10 on this on. So.
Okay, what'd you get?
No, like a fail.
Oh, you get a 1? Okay. So as you do, as you reach in to get it, you cram one into your mouth and you just close your eyes,
Here.
feeling the nectar just drip down over your chin, and you trip. As you do, you and the satchel hit the ground, the contents of the satchel spilling out across the ground. What did you get?
I got a 14.
Which is good enough
Yeah.
to notice Jakeen face plant and a bunch of this red stuff. Well, a nice pulpy, riney
Just quietly
slide out of the
back
satchel.
into the satchel.
What? Is that what I think it is?
Just some bug repellent.
Jakeen.
The kind you
I'll
eat?
just put it back into the dinosaur bag.
Are all of you going over to check this out?
Yeah.
What is there to
should
check
probably
out?
find JJ.
So the 3 of you make me medicine checks.
I curse you all to fail.
And you almost can't help yourself now. You just have to keep eating. Crit?
I have a 20, not natural, but
Oh,
But a 20?
yeah.
8.
Eight.
But I didn't say that I would follow them, so.
Okay, that's fine. So you're just like it spills out across the ground and you're just like, I know, I gotta,
I didn't think that was a contingency of this.
It is now.
Oh God. Well, guys, I thought I could control it, but
John, you
Clearly
maybe
I
want to stop
can't.
her
With
from
this-
this.
I don't need your judgment.
So she is cramming this into her mouth. She can't help herself but continue to eat.
Give me the lowdown on this. Yeah.
Should I get the rope?
Maybe. Now give me a con save.
Jakeen, put it down.
No.
Okay, great. Because you both recognize that looks like a liver. That looks like a lung.
I'm glad.
That looks like some grayish red skin.
Jakeen, you're not eating the fruit. Put it down. You're eating,
I
you're
don't
eating the
think that's
guy.
That's not the fruit.
Spit it out.
Your con save was terrible. You continue to cram it in your mouth as you start to vomit.
I'm gonna come up to her
Okay,
and
I
then
don't understand how I like mistaken the fruit for.
Well, you touched it, so it wasn't like a thing that you could really control because it's actually red grung.
Oh.
oh no.
Do I know it's red grung?
You do.
When he first
And you did when you
described
crit.
it, I was like, oh my god, it's JJ. And then she started to put it in her bag, and I was like, oh, thank god, it's just the fruit.
Wow. This is gonna be gross.
Do I know if there's a grung don't typically frequent this area, right?
You are a decent ways away from that, but you are back into the tree canopies. So you do what you know about this area is that it is right on the edge of the right on the edge of where the undead are. Like this river is the borderline to the east, where the undead push to the left. And you do know that based on where you're at, there is a very large grung, kind of the capital of grung villages, a good ways away on one of the other rivers, but to the west.
Kind of.
Am I just like vomiting and eating at the same time?
You're kind of
like
until you.
taking turns between the two.
But after you hear that, I will give you the opportunity to stop eating that and go into your rations if you would like.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to stop eating the
I
sentient creature.
Oh, it's not anymore.
I think the dead one is eating the JJ.
I really hope that's not JJ, you guys. Do I recognize any of the pieces like to possibly be JJ?
Give me a history check.
What other red grungs in
12.
this area?
12. As you
Lots of them. That's what the cultists have been hurting.
as you start to like you stop doing that and you kind of like
Rations.
look down at your hands, you notice that the nectar, the juice is actually blood. You look over to your satchel on the left side and you start to pull out like some of the
Rations, and I
the
look
rations.
directly at Reef, and I'm like, whatever, goblin face.
Wow.
Whoa.
And as you do that, you start to kind of like just slowly chew on the rations. It kind of like rinses
Yeah.
that taste out of your mouth. And you look over, you look over and you see that on a twig, a little ways away, there is a green eyeball looking back at you. The same green of JJ's eyes.
We never could have saved her. That's so depressing.
Maybe.
And all over the trees, you guys all start to realize that the red that's there is not necessarily blood from the cultist, but is JJ's blood.
You made me eat JJ. That's just messed up. Oh God.
I had so many plans for that little grung.
Yeah, me too. And Eater wasn't one of them.
I'm just gonna walk off into the forest.
Me too. I'm in a different direction.
I'm gonna take my sword out and
I'm gonna
just
start,
make some choices.
Make some choices.
I'm gonna start digging a hole
Okay.
so that we can bury her.
What's left in the satchel?
Yeah, just there's pieces everywhere.
Okay. So as you go strolling out into a little bit of the underbrush that's been kind of bushed back, and you pull out your sword and you kind of like just slamming it into different things, chopping into things from, I'm guessing, your anger. You notice.
Yeah, sure, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, I hope that other choice isn't too aggressive because you notice there's a little green glow a little ways in front of you.
I'll go inspect what the green glow is.
Okay. Underneath a little leaf, there seems to be that little glow emanating. You come over, you take your sword, you lift up the leaf, and you see there is a little chunk, a nice little jagged shard of an emerald that's glowing.
I'll pick it up.
As you pick it up and it gets kind of contact with the light around it, you see that the sickly green turns like a seafoam color, like it's got this nice kind of aquamarine hint to it. And you can see inside it, there's like this little storm cloud that's rolling back and forth in it.
Do I know what this is? Is it the pulse?
Probably.
Bring back JJ, you stupid thing!
You're gonna hear her and start kind of like walking back towards
She's gonna, like,
the
shake it.
territory.
Start to shake it?
Yeah. Bring back
We're
JJ!
gonna
I don't know how you work, but bring her back!
come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're trying to say it. It's this and everything else is we have to get rid of this stupid thing.
Smash it. It doesn't do anything. Stupid, horrible thing.
It's filled with magic. It's if you shake it and you break it,
Oh,
we'll
and I
all
guess-
end up like this.
Not so bad.
Can't.
Where are you?
Digging a hole.
Digging a hole. Where are you?
I'm just kind of still sitting over there. I don't. Collecting my thoughts.
How do I
guess.
make the
don't
magic
know.
work? How do I bring back JJ with it?
I don't know. It's just filled with it. It's filled with it, and at some point, it just released it all. I mean, I'm gonna pick it up from where she had it, and I guess we'll look around to see if there's any more of it that's scattered around.
Okay. So when you walk back to the center where she's digging a hole, you begin to see you see the glow kind of like emanating. And are you guys like, are you walking it over to each other?
Yeah, I'm walking it over and kind of putting it
Is
next. I think so. Or what's left of it. I'm gonna just put it down right next to the hole.
You
I don't know if
recognize
there's any more.
You recognize this thing as being a lot smaller than legend has said. And it looks like it's kind of too small for the glow that was in JJ's chest.
It's so small.
Maybe because
Maybe
it
it's
used
not all of it.
maybe it used up all of what was inside of there, and when it uses all the magic, it shrinks.
Maybe it's just a piece of it.
You know, they do pump magic into it. It might make it.
Well, let's just check.
Grow.
We just need to check to make sure that none of it is still floating around here, because it gets in anything else that's magical, it's just going to do this again.
Yeah.
And
You be careful touching it.
I'm looking away from it, just holding it down.
Okay.
So,
And you guys kind of all, now that it's out in the open, it's sitting here, you guys all notice that there are, from the kind of dream that you had before, this looks about a fourth of the size of what you recall from the dream.
the original one. Well, we will continue to look around the area. If this is one piece, then maybe the other one's not too far away.
Okay.
We'll spend like an hour looking.
Okay.
Inspect that guy's head, then and see if there's any.
So when you go over to the head, are you bringing the shard with you? Or are you leaving it next to the
I didn't plan on touching
shallow
it.
grave?
I'll wrap up the shard and keep it with me.
Okay. So when you go over, roll me a medicine check.
That's a crit.
Okay. So you look at the crater that's left in this guy's forehead. And thinking back on the shard that you guys just found, you recognize that it seems like the reverse as part of one of the portions of it. You're pretty confident that at least part of the shard was embedded in this guy's head, but doesn't seem to be anywhere nearby. You search for another hour or so, and you don't really see any other traces except for this one piece.
Do you think whoever else was looking for
Someone
the
had
pulse?
to have taken the shard out of the face.
Well, if they took that, then they may have taken the other two pieces, which means we have the last piece.
I guess they would have taken it back where we
To the
were.
port. This was all about getting JJ safe, but now all I care about is getting this thing and destroying it.
No one should
because
have it.
I mean, no one deserves that. Like, he didn't, whatever that cultist was in there, he obviously had greater motives for things. He didn't deserve that. No one deserves a fate to be scattered across the walls of...
I don't want anyone else using the grung to empower the pulse.
No. The pulse needs to go.
I wonder why this cultist was by himself.
He was going to... He said he was just moments away from being able to resurrect his wife. He obviously went out on his own to go find JJ. Something happened here. Either the pulse got activated or JJ got scared. Oh, God. He was scared. And then he just...
Who is the big one that we saw with the flaming sword?
That's... Must be...
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to screw up the name again. Dendar.
That is not Dindar, as far as you know.
Mm.
You two can both roll me history checks. And Jakeen, you could roll me a history check too if you're here.
18.
10.
12.
You recognize that person, and you're able to put a name to a scaly, kind of blindfolded face, and especially the flaming sword. And you have heard quite a few rumors of a former son of Mesro, a protector of Mesro, that formed a pact with the Yanti after trying to take Mesro for himself, and his name was Raz Nasi.
And what's the name of the sword?
You don't know,
Oh, I thought you said I did.
but the sword is definitely an iconic
It's
feature.
part of his thing.
It's part of his persona, to be sure. In the midst of this wallowing, you start to hear the sounds of the jungle come back to life. You start to hear little bits of insects at first, now seeming to ignore whatever's left in Jakeen's bloodstream.
I'm gonna start, as gruesome as it is, I'm gonna start like grabbing bits of body and putting them in the hole.
Okay. Give me a con save.
Shit. 14.
You're able to resist the urge to start eating whatever food is close at hand.
I'll put gloves on and do the same.
I like how you put the gloves on, and even though she succeeded in her thing, you don't tell her to put gloves on. You're just like, I put gloves on, she's already had the roll.
I'm tough.
Is there some kind of like grung funerary rite or something?
Yeah,
that
I was
know
gonna.
of?
I was gonna ask that. What should we do to honor
Look at
JJ's memory? What's like a
How do grung treat
customary
that?
thing?
What would you do?
Oh, well, wait. Are we close to water?
Yeah. You're pretty close to that stream.
Assume that we would return them to the water rather than putting them in the land.
I don't know what you're talking about, but if you want to tell the group what you think you might do, you can.
The grung, we send the dead back to the water.
That makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because we came from the water, we return to the water.
Okay, then that's what we'll do for JJ.
Gather up the bits. Just roll them into the stream.
What?
Oh, son of a.
So is there anything that you would normally say in your grung language as you get over there? And a series of croaks and bleeps and blips and blops and bloops?
Yep, those things.
Okay, so as you guys head over to the water, you take what's left in the satchel, and Reef just kind of dumps it into the water, and you're
Can I do
able
like
to
this
say,
like weird like throat singing
Gathering
song?
the
Do it.
ashes.
Like, just kind of cheapens the moment. You know?
Not if you believe in it, man.
I'm trying. I can't
Yes, you.
throw.
I don't want to hear can't.
Okay.
There's
It
do
sounds
and
like-
do not
I
Mother
would
Frodo.
liken it how I imagine it to like that
Mongolian throat
throat
chanting.
singing thing. But it just sounds stupid when I do it. So can we all just imagine that something beautiful happening?
Well,
Yeah.
It sounds like a dreadful dirge,
Yeah.
a mournful wail coming from the croak of the throat of little Lepat.
But more beautiful than that.
I mean, what is beautiful when you're talking about a
To the grung.
yeah, to the grung.
Yeah,
It is.
Sure.
Beautiful.
I guess that's what it sounds like everybody else.
Thank you, Pat.
And we'll have a moment. And then we have to press on, I guess.
We have to find this thing.
Roll me perception checks.
Is it
5.
17, I mean?
I'm overwhelmed.
But not
So a little way down to the left, you see there is what kind of looks like the corral of loggers.
Corral?
Yeah, like where they would corral like down trees. That would be used as flotation device.
Well, I guess we at least can make a raft to go back down to the port. So, all right. Well, look, the whole point of trying to help JJ is so that nothing else could suffer because of this thing. So let's get to the port and let's catch whoever has the rest of this thing and get it out of this plane of existence. I still don't know how, but
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
So who's got the shard of the pulse?
I do.
Thanks, JJ. Thanks for reminding me why we do this.
And you also have the notes from.
I have the notes and I have the drawing of the woman.
Great. As you return to the water, let's see. We'll call that a grung lullaby, putting them to sleep.
That's really, really sweet and sad.
As you guys head down towards the little ford where the corral is, you notice that there is a hut. Everybody, may I have your character pieces?
Yep.
I know how Mylin feels. Thank you. You all continue on your way, getting closer and closer. You see that there's what looks like a somewhat smashed, not quite dilapidated, but something that was probably hit by a large creature at some point.
Has it been affected by the blast at all?
It doesn't appear to have any of that residue, and it is quite a ways away. It's almost like the same distance as where you guys had come in from.
Okay. I'm gonna walk up and investigate.
Okay, as you walk closer, you're gonna investigate this.
Yeah, I wanna just like see if there are people, if there's anything in the destroyed house.
I'm gonna lean against that crooked tree, and
Did you just say nope?
Oh no, I didn't say no. Sorry.
I'm just gonna lean against that crooked tree that's over there, and just kind of. I'm still not over this.
So you're gonna kind of like wade through the slow-moving water and search about. You don't notice anything directly. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll just follow, like, kind of. I guess I'd be somewhere in the middle, just keeping an eye out, looking around.
Okay,
A little bit
you're
closer to
standing sentry.
Yeah, around there.
Jakeen, you're starting to feel like you're just starting to feel sick. like, and this isn't something like sick to your stomach. It feels a lot like that exhaustion is creeping up on you again.
Okay.
You make it kind of over to this little wall here, and you can't help but take a knee. Give me a perception check.
19.
19. Kind of root around through some of the interior of the house, and it looks as though it was a pretty hospitable place until
Can I tell what it was? Was it like an inn or?
it looks like it was somebody's house.
Okay.
Maybe they ran a business out of the house. Do you go inside and search about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tentatively, I'll like make sure that I'm aware of like any traps that somebody would have set or anything
Right.
like that.
You don't see any traps. The beams that look like they were going to collapse look like they have. You kind of like move yourself around in and out, wobbling back and forth a little bit. You find that this indeed was the residence of somebody who sold rafts to go upriver towards Kitcher's Inlet.
Okay.
You see a map leading up towards the bay that would be Kitcher's Inlet.
Are there any supplies like rope or anything in there that it would behoove me to take?
Give me a percentile. Grung, you're just kind of looking about.
Yeah. Just,
99.
keeping a keen
Nice.
eye out.
You find insect repellent.
Oh, thank God.
You find
insect repellent
rope.
and rope.
You find shoes that are actually your size.
Oh, thank God.
You find rations, which are actually kind of better than rations because they're not, those dried, stale pieces of bread
Iron
and jerky.
rations?
This is iron rations.
Wink.
Wink, wink. You find more like a if somebody were keeping a fresh stocked pantry, and you move through some of the collapsed area to where the kitchen would be, and you can find that there are some actual like dried meats laid out. They kind of remind you of how Jaqueen made them before,
Okay.
not too long ago. Some of the ones that she fed to the dinosaurs, which is probably good because they're probably pretty hungry at this point.
Okay. I'll slowly like bring it all out.
Jaqueen, make me a con save, please.
Oh.
Okay. The pressure, the weight of everything that's happening, and the energy that has been sapped from you seems to be accelerating your body's any of the rest that you got from before seems to be kind of just draining out of you. You're kind of composing yourself against the tree.
I'm trying to.
I like gesture to everything. I'm like, you have to eat. You have to eat something. Okay.
I walk over to her and kind of look at all the supplies we've got and just kind of take a seat and just silently just eat.
Grung?
Is there a raft inside?
A raft in the house? There is
I'm
not.
talking to her.
Oh.
No, this person definitely built them or sold them or something. Though there's maps, there's all kinds of stuff in there, so we should be able to make a raft here.
Well,
It seems like it's a direct line.
give me a perception check.
Uh, 21.
Okay. You actually notice that there is a raft ready and waiting a little ways down the stream.
Guys, there's the raft already made. We don't even have to make one.
Ho-ho! Good job.
Well, that saves some time. What if we run into the group down the street? What if we run into the group down the stream and we just pass them?
You mean like not stop?
Yeah, if we're going faster, if we're going to save time by going down the river, then if we pass whoever managed to collect the rest of the pulse, we could just float right by them.
Right. Is Jaquine okay?
And to look around, to turn around and look her back at her.
She needed that fruit. I mean, she seems like okay,
Yeah,
but
she's deep into it.
As you, Jaquine, as you kind of like slump down, you notice that even where you are seems to be a little depressed from the space that is from the height of the rest of the ground. As the light rain starts to trickle in over you guys, as Cholt is wont to do, especially now that you are back into the actual jungle, you can start to see the puddles forming, and you realize that what has crushed part of this house seems to have very large footprints. And then in the distance you hear
Great. More dinosaurs.
and Jaquine feels the presence of the undead.
Cool, we're all gonna die.
Great. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to her and I'll use a lesser restoration to see if I can boost her up a little. Oh, there we go. So,
As you start to move towards her,
yeah.
you see through the canopy the giant head of a T-Rex.
Does it end T-Rex?
How close do you want to get?
Not close enough to find out.
he's a big boy. I can't tell.
So he just kind of pops his head out of the canopy as we.
Right in front of you.
Jaquine.
Right between you and Jaquine.
All right.
Launches what looks like an enormous loogie out of its mouth and slamming into a tree over here.
Oh, great.
Corpse.
Of course. So, I'm backing away from it, but I'm looking towards Jaquine.
You step back through the little bit of the river that's moving slowly enough. It's only up to about thigh deep.
Right.
Backing away, trying to look at Jaquine as you're moving. And the T-Rex sees you
Sees me.
moving.
So, okay. I'm gonna stop.
You freeze.
Freeze.
Give me perception checks.
15.
You are both absolutely aware, as you would catch out of her eyes, that she's like, oh, you see this. And you both notice this corpse get up. Another one goes flying out of its mouth and lands on top of the building.
Jaquine.
Can't really move right now.
We have to get to the raft.
We have to get to that one.
Jaquine. Could you run towards the raft?
No. I'm assuming I can't run, right?
Give me a con save, or give me a strength saving throw on this one.
16.
Okay, you are able to kind of push yourself up onto your feet, stumbling forward a little ways, and you see the two zombies here. As you move, this one turns to look at you. This one, still on the ground, edges in your direction now.
As I'm just speaking out loud, but just doing it quietly since the two of them are pretty close to this. I have one play on this, but if it doesn't work, we're going to have to run.
All right, I'll trust you.
This is
Like smiling at the T-Rex, like, ha ha ha.
um,
Everything's fine over here.
I'm going to try to put hypnotic pattern on it with, since it's a 30-foot radius, maybe I can get the two zombies that are closest to it. Since it's a 30-foot, yeah.
Okay.
Do it.
Doing it.
Nail it.
It's just a wisdom save against the dino.
Be be dumb. Although I guess being dumb would be an intelligence save.
Yeah.
Be unwise.
How many feet did you say Jakeen is away from us at the moment? I was curious.
Probably like 30, 40 feet.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 feet.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, well, we're going to give this a go. Let's see what he rolls. Do you want to roll it?
No, you can roll it. It's not my T-Rex.
No, it's not. What's my DC?
DC's 14.
Well, I rolled pretty well, but it does have a -4 to its wisdom.
Holy crap.
Amazing.
Because it is a dinosaur and it's undead.
So it kind of lurches into a half of a zombie just hanging out, dangling. Doesn't seem, the one in his jaws doesn't seem to be awake yet.
Okay.
But let me give,
It's locked.
so one of the zombies, the one over here,
Yeah.
crit, and that one's gonna fail.
Okay.
So these two are stunned in a hypnotic pattern.
Such of them are left, but Jakeen's left, our right. So I'll turn to the back and go, run, go straight for the raft, and then I'll yell towards Jakeen. Jakeen, run past the dinosaur, to your left, and follow us. They're stuck. You've got 1 minute. And I yell at her.
Guess I'll run.
Okay. You're gonna try and move around.
Yeah, does pass without trace work in this situation?
Pass without a trace would give you a +10 to your stealth, I believe. If you're going to try and sneak around it, you can. You are kind of where your movement is halved, plus sneaking would have it again. So
Cool.
you'll only
I'm
move
gonna
about
run
5 or
and
10.
suicide right into the dinosaur.
Into the
Screaming.
dinosaur?
It
Yeah.
doesn't move. It's completely...
Or into the woods in the opposite direction.
Okay.
You set me up with a mechanic that already puts me at a disadvantage for this, and so I'm going to run screaming into the forest in the opposite direction of them
Cool.
to suicide.
Okay. Give me a... Wait, so you're are you trying to draw its attention?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go kill myself.
Okay. Give me a con saving throw.
16.
Okay, so you are able to go and you kind of muster the follow me kind of thing as you're rushing out that way. You're moving pretty slowly in the opposite direction. You guys see her rush off.
Where's she going?
I don't know.
Which way's the raft?
This thing will be the raft.
Oh, okay. And that's a river in the middle?
That is a river.
Oh, okay. Now, okay, everything makes a lot more sense. Okay.
They start to move in her direction. The clock is ticking.
Does this go?
Do I know what a storm giant strength potion does?
You remember him telling you it'll make you very strong.
I mean, if she's out of sight and running the other direction, then I'm just going to trust her that she'll get back to us, and I'm going to walk over towards the raft, or just kind of like slowly like keep looking, checking every few seconds, and then just kind of like look back and goes, she must have a plan. Let's just. We can't go past it. We've only got a few seconds before this thing wears off.
Okay.
Let's just. Okay, so we'll all run towards the raft, or I'll run towards the raft and kind of grab Reef by her arm and pull her.
And you guys feel this big thud against the ground as it climbs off the roof and starts to head that way. Anybody else going?
Yeah, he's dragging me. I'll go.
I guess have to run. How wide is the river to get to the other side of it?
You can get to the other side of it pretty
There's,
easily.
like,
It's going to be difficult terrain for you, but you swim, so you pretty much could leap over it at this point. But you guys, you see that out this way, it starts to widen, and it becomes an actual river. But here, there's the pole, there's the raft. Seems like an easy escape.
I guess I'm following them reluctantly. It's still looking at, I don't know, around for some kind of something. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm following them.
Okay. You guys start to push off with the raft. Jakeen, may I please have another con save?
15.
Okay. You stumble a little bit further away, screaming and yelling. As the hypnotic pattern starts to fade from that, you do draw the dinosaur's attention, and he starts heading in your direction. You guys all push off downstream, watching the dinosaur goes out. You run for as long as you possibly can, looking back, noticing that the dinosaur is there, hawking out zombies to your left and your right, trying to catch you almost in the center of this straight line as it starts to not move as fast as a T-Rex normally would, but it's coming. Eventually, after about 5 or 10 minutes, you really catch the full fate of this fatigue and you hit the ground, struggling a couple more feet.
Cool.
And you look up to see a pair of sabatons that seem to be like bone armor, leading up into a Grim Reaper style robe. A long skeletal hand, the bones pretty thick, pretty strong, seems to reach down to you, and you notice that in its hand is a mask.
Cool.
What choice would you like?
I don't really care anymore. I'll just put it on.
Did you not wish for my mask?
Yeah, sure, why not? I don't really have a lot of choices, so.
I do. I am offering you life. The death curse is ended, and then you are free.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but sure. Sure, why not? Can't be any worse than what's going on. I just take it and put it on.
The terms.
Yeah, I know the terms. It's fine.
Okay, so you reach up and snatch it out of his hand and
I'm
put it
like,
on.
whatever. Yep.
As you put it on, it seems to actually kind of blend into your face. You feel completely rejuvenated. Your sword that was the twisting snake longsword starts to ignite in this cold flame, arcing down, almost feels like it's coming directly out of you, and now the weapon feels like more of an extension of who you are than anything has ever felt before. Your shield almost slides directly off of your back and becomes a larger version of what you are used to carrying. The weight doesn't feel like it's anything. The energy inside you starts to build in a way that you've never experienced even when you were high on this fruit. When you get done noticing all of these things, you notice that he's gone, and you see the T-Rex running towards you. You have the odd feeling that you want to raise your sword and point it towards this guy.
Okay.
Would you like to make me an attack roll?
Sure. I don't know. It's 12 on the die. So
Okay. What is your attack modifier?
it depends what weapon I'm using.
Longsword.
Plus 6, so 17.
17.
Or 18.
The cold flame from the sword starts to infuse and become this incredible purple. It's not a bright, vibrant, but it's got this dark undertone to it that lashes out in a blast. Roll me 2d10.
6 and 7.
Okay.
13.
And what was the total?
13.
13. As you point the blade up to it, this blast comes out, catching the zombie dinosaur right in the jawline, ripping the jaw off, sending it spiraling off into the woods, and it collapses at your feet, sliding just up to the edge of your boots, which actually now look like a strong bone armor. As you actually take in the rest of what you're wearing, a lot of it looks pretty on point with what you originally had, except now it just feels as though you actually have this shell of protection around you. The zombies come up and you handle them pretty easily over the course of the next 5 minutes or so. You have all pushed your way downstream. You know none of this. You've seen none of this. And you are headed back north. What do you want to do?
I guess I'll just make my way north as well, murdering stuff as I go.
Okay. You don't feel any different. You feel pretty keen. But you don't seem to need your crossbow anymore. You still have it. But what you now have seems to be pretty on point. Thank you guys for tuning in to Fury's Reach. Thank you for spending the evening with us, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for fitting that Hell's Angels drives by. That is a lot of bikes.
They like to be involved.
That is a lot of
They
bikes.
love D&D.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with us. We'll do one more raffle here real fast. The stream will continue next week, and the season finale will roll on through. Why don't we start on this edge while I'm working on the raffle stuff? Why don't we start on this end and go around, tell everybody who you are, where they can find you, if you have any exciting announcements, things that you've just done or gonna do or whatever. Cool. Have at it.
Hey, Signeutron. You can find me. I'm on Twitch now too at twitch.tv/Signeutron. Yeah, and also Instagram and Twitter at Signeutron. I'm going to be at Sinister Creature Con coming up. I think that's the next convention. Teaching a class there up in Sacramento. So check out my social medias and you'll find out details about it.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me on twitch.tv/DexBonus. I'm DexBonus on pretty much all social media, and youtube.com/presshearttocontinue. I do anime and gaming stuff, and I just launched a coffee line that you can find at dodgercoffeeco.com, which I'm pretty proud of, so if you like coffee, maybe check it out. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
I'm Ivan. I'm just on Hydra_Lord on all the socials. I have a Kickstarter launching October 2nd for the role-playing game that I'll be putting out. Beyond that, the season finale of Game the Game, which is our board game show, is going to be next Friday. And if you're on Twitch this Friday, I'm playing an 8-hour game of Axis and Allies, courtesy of Avalon Hill. We'll be having 2 historical consultants talking about World War II while we do each one of the turns. It's going to be crazy.
That sounds perfect
Don't
for a
want to. It's so
specific
long.
person.
They are 8 hours, and literally, it's like every turn after we've done it, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's very interesting that Germany did that, because you see, back in 1943, back when Germany moved into Poland, so blah blah blah." It's going to be awesome.
All of the history nerds I know.
That actually does sound really awesome.
It's really awesome. See you then.
I really hope that one of them, though, is like a John Madden. He's like, well, the point of this here is going to be to kill the more of the other guy.
Imagine that, but with a British accent.
Oh, great.
Great.
British John Madden for,
Yep.
for World War II.
Yep.
I'm Mylin. You can find me on Twitch at The Gamer Chick, and you can find me on social media at my name, Mylin Sarley.
Mylin is also going to be on stage during TwitchCon with the Maze Arcana crew, playing on the main stage. We're one of 4 live RPGs that are going to be up
We
there.
got all that. It's great.
Us, Dice Camera Action, Acquisitions Inc., and a Grand Theft Auto live RP.
What? Amazing.
Wow,
know, right?
Huh.
I saw that and I was like, that's going to have a lot of profanity.
Yeah.
I unfortunately will not be going to TwitchCon. I
Oh.
have to be at a wedding, so
Oh, you have to be at a wedding.
I have to be at a wedding.
Oh, I think I know a wedding you have to be at. That's unfortunate.
That's fair.
But, you know, God bless everybody going to that awesome wedding. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to pop off that raffle, and then we will see you a little bit later.
Do it. Who gets it?
Tuna Face,
Yeah.
you win bonus points for name. So all you guys got to do is
But
message
you do
me
not
at
win the mount.
Yeah.
Pull them out.
At Ruty Woot, you will
no
get a
character.
mount of your choice for Neverwinter from either the PC, the Xbox, or the PlayStation 4. And just let me know which one you want. Again, whisper me at Ruty Woot, and we'll get that over to you soon. Make sure you continue to tune in for all of the rest of the really awesome streams here at D&D. And join us on Sundays. Join Ivan over at Geek and Sundry when he's there. You could also see him reprise his role on Maze Arcana any time in the near future as his
November, maybe.
November
November's easier.
little Arcanite he got over there. Name is a little half-orc Arcanite.
He's a classy man.
He's a very classy man. Wilgrim. Sig, we got something starting up next Wednesday, don't we? Alongside this, a little couple hours before. And Dodger, we'll see you a little later, huh? You got that awesome coffee line. We're going to go have some.
Do, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, have a wonderful night. Let's roll that outro intro.
Bye-bye.
Bye.